Minion in! Ladies and gentlemen, the Bless Unleashed 2021 Spring Update is upon us. We did a long-ass stream at launch, and I have thoughts. Let's do this!
Come for the game, stay for the commentary.
Ain't nothing but a seat then, baby.
Whenever a big update comes along, there is a pattern we have come to expect. So I predicted with absolute certainty that a 2-hour downtime for the update was going to turn into a minimum of 4 hours, followed by just under an hour of gameplay and then a few hours of emergency maintenance. The update was 3 hours of downtime with no emergency maintenance immediately after launch. This shows how well prepared developers were for this release. It is a definite improvement, and it alleviates one of my biggest concerns that I had, that devs were piling tons of new content on top of a shoddy foundation and eventually the whole thing was going to break. Clearly, they have been optimizing and patching the foundation of the game as well, and it is able to hold that extra weight. The game's being done right. Let's go over some specific details. The new combos. They are easier to do, easier to learn. Those of us who've been playing for a while are going to have a little difficulty resetting our muscle memory before we stop accidentally triggering our class skills that were mapped to circle or B, but that shouldn't take too long. The new episode type quests. I only got to do one of them last night, the Delilah Bendelac chain, and while it's still a little buggy, it was just the kind of lore injection that the game needed, and I can't wait for more of these. What might be one of the biggest pieces of news with this update: Centurion's Command no longer requires you to have treasure chest mounts. If it weren't for a bug in the campaign requirements that failed to register your reputation level with NPC factions, people would already have Centurion's Command. I predict by the end of next week, we're all gonna have it. My only beef is that it requires you to do red basin. PvP is the part of this game that I least enjoy. So this is going to be an unpleasant and boring grind for me. I may just put it off for a bit. On the other hand, making all of the Central World regions PvP-free zones has been both a boon and a blessing, which many of us celebrated by running naked newbie tunes to Tristeza, holding torches to issue challenges to PKers that could not be answered. The decision to do this is definitely going to breathe new life into a game that was threatening to stagnate under the stale tedium of idiots. I main a satyr, so let's talk about the aggro increase. We did some testing, and I can't confirm this 100%, but here's what I observed. Using Shield Guard is now a kind of taunt. I've observed several times that just putting my shield up has caused some, but not all trash mobs to turn away from the rest of my party to focus on me instead. This does not work on bosses, so don't expect us to tank those. Honestly, I prefer it this way. There are a few things I wasn't able to test, because I couldn't find them. For example, the hiding the HUD option, so I can take awesome screenshots. I have no idea where that is. Well, it was in the patch notes, it's bound to be somewhere, but it sure is being elusive. I did use the pathfinding system. I'm very happy to report that it is not at all intrusive, does not hold your hand and walk you through stuff. Well done. Except the beeping. Apparently when the system is adjusting your course, you hear a beeping sound, like being molested by a very small submarine. I thought I was getting tinnitus. You can turn this off, by the way. Guild depots are done very well. Officers can use guild currency to stock the depots with useful items, and guildies can withdraw those items in exchange for guild points. I love being able to teleport to any teleposts from anywhere and just paying gold for it. It isn't cheap, so I'll still be using teleposts regularly, but it feels good to have that option, you know? We also ran a timed dungeon, and I'm happy to announce my good RNG is still holding up, and I got a near god roll S-rank weapon for my efforts first time. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Mount controls. The default of these has been set to the one for psychopaths. So unless you're ready to give up on your auto run, and why would you, I advise you to go to your settings first, change your mount control type to B. That's better. But it will reset back to A when you log out and back in again, so you'll have to change it again. This is a bug I'm sure they'll fix very soon. At this point, I was going to say we haven't seen the new smugglers yet, but I just did, and I'll be sharing those locations shortly. Hit me up on Discord, or better yet, Guilded, if you see one, in case they added more than 2. We've got screenshots. By the way, you will need smugglers to get the pieces you need to complete your ancient weapon crafting quests. For some reason, I was expecting new blue campaign story quests in Eoran, Ostium, and Eidolon. It wasn't in the patch notes, and I can't remember where I heard it, but I thought they were going to be a thing, and they're not, which makes me a little sad. People are wrapping up all the new episode quests in like under an hour, so the update does feel very light on story content, but where quality of life upgrades are concerned, it gets the Minion seal of approval. Here's another thing I'm excited about. Remember how agonizingly slow it used to be to stand up? The standing up animation has been sped up, and now sitting and standing ain't no thing. You don't have to stop to loot fallen enemies anymore. The bending down animation is gone. Just spam X as you run by the bodies of your enemies. The other thing I consider an absolute game changer is that they removed that constant thorn in my side, the little stumble when you stop running, right? It's gone. Now you can summon your mount the second you let go of the stick. Holy shit. It's weird how so many of us met small changes like that with such near euphoria. Oh, one quick beef. We noticed that during the first CT boss that the shadows warning of falling rocks have been changed to red circles on the ground. I also noticed that this morning when fighting Bashal that there are red circles where the water spouts are about to come up. I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to make incoming danger harder to see. But speaking as someone who is partially colorblind, that boss fight is just a luck game to me now. I have no idea where those rocks are coming from. I'm going to keep exploring the new stuff. If you have thoughts and feedback, I'm more than happy to hear them in the comments section or on my new Guilded server. Now go be freaking heroes. Minion out.